A book can be real, old vellum, careful ink, complex illustrations, and still be unreadable in the most absolute way. The Voynich Manuscript looks like medicine, botany, astronomy, and anatomy, yet every confident translation crumbles when you test it across the pages. That's what makes it terrifying. It behaves like knowledge while refusing to become knowledge. Tonight we treat it like a case file and ask one question: is it a cipher, a hoax, or a system whose key is gone? The Voynich Manuscript is an illustrated handwritten codex on vellum filled with an unknown script and structured sections. It's not a random bundle of notes, it's organized like a reference book. Pages cluster into themes, layouts repeat, and visual motifs return as if the reader is meant to navigate it. That structure is the first shock. Meaning or not, someone engineered it to look like a usable manual. It's called Voynich because Wilfrid Voynich acquired it in the early 1900s and turned it into a modern mystery object. From that moment, the manuscript stopped being just a weird book and became a challenge to cryptography itself. The myth grows because the manuscript invites a specific type of confidence. People think, I can crack this. Then it refuses. The case takes a hard turn because radiocarbon testing of the vellum is widely cited as placing it in the early 15th century, often described around the 1400s rather than modern times. That doesn't prove the text is meaningful, but it does constrain the story. Either it's a medieval cipher, a medieval constructed system, or a medieval-era hoax built on expensive material. The object is not easily dismissed as a modern novelty. Look at it as an artifact: quire structure, page order, ink flow, corrections, and consistent handwriting rhythm. These are workshop signals, the kind you expect from sustained production, not casual doodling. A hoax is still possible, but it would be a disciplined, time-consuming project. The physical book argues one thing clearly: whoever made it worked like a professional. The manuscript's illustrations fall into recognizable genres: plant-like pages, circular diagram pages, zodiac-like medallions, and bath-like scenes connected by tube networks, plus pages that look list-based. Even if you can't read a word, you can feel the editorial plan. That plan becomes the central puzzle. Are the visuals referencing real traditions, or are they carefully chosen props to simulate expertise? The text doesn't look like chaotic scribbles. It has repeating word-like tokens, stable spacing, and a writing flow that resembles natural handwriting. Some patterns are frequent, others rare, and clusters appear in similar page contexts. This is exactly why people keep falling for solutions. The script invites linguistic interpretation. But structure alone doesn't guarantee meaning. A system can be structured and still empty. Researchers have long noted that the manuscript's text appears to have at least two distinct statistical dialects, sometimes labeled as different hands or different language modes. That detail is important because it suggests the system is not one flat random generator. If it's a hoax with internal variation. If it's a real system, it may have multiple registers, topics, or scribes. If it's an enciphered known language, the script could map to transformed letters or syllables. Medieval Europe did use secret writing, abbreviations, and specialized notations. But strong ciphers usually leave attack surfaces: repeated headers, predictable grammar, or a key structure that breaks under sustained tests. Voynich's resistance suggests either an unusual cipher method, or that we're not dealing with a conventional cipher at all. Another possibility is that the script is not a cipher but a created alphabet or phonetic system invented for a specific community or purpose. If the symbol-to-sound mapping is lost, even a meaningful text becomes unreadable. This is a brutal concept. A real language can vanish if its writing system loses its bridge to pronunciation. The manuscript might be meaningful, but locked behind a missing primer. The hoax theory argues the product is not information, it's the appearance of information. Create a book that looks like advanced medicine and cosmology, write it in a pseudo-script with consistent rules, and sell the aura of forbidden knowledge. The genius is that verification becomes impossible by design. The manuscript then feeds on its own myth. The more experts fail, the more valuable the object seems. A hoax doesn't require random scribbling. It can be built using a constrained generator. Rules for word shapes, line rhythms, and page-specific vocabularies. If you keep the system consistent, the text can look language-like under statistical tests without encoding semantic meaning. That's why, it looks like language is not a victory, it's only a starting condition. The nightmare for cryptanalysis is a text with no confirmed plaintext anchors. No names, no dates, no bilingual labels, no obvious repeated headers you can verify. Voynich gives you almost nothing you can pin down. Without a foothold, brute force becomes pattern chasing, and pattern chasing is where humans overfit. The manuscript weapon is our need to see meaning. If the zodiac medallions correspond to real calendar structure, you should be able to predict page ordering. If the rosette foldout reflects a known diagram tradition, you should see recognizable motifs. If the plant section corresponds to real materia medica, species should match. But much of it looks composite, almost familiar, never fully identifiable. That ambiguity is either the key, coded visuals, or the perfect camouflage. A real solution must scale. It can't decode one caption. It must decode hundreds of pages consistently, produce coherent translations, explain repeated token behavior, and align with section themes. Most viral claims cherry-pick a line, force a mapping, and then declare victory. The Voynich Manuscript punishes that approach because it offers endless patterns to fit if you relax standards. A credible decipherment would do 4 things. Translate large portions consistently, predict unseen parts before reading them, explain why different sections use different vocabularies, and survive independent replication by other researchers. It must also make sense of the images, not ignore them. The standard is harsh because the manuscript has earned harshness. Even without reading it, you can study production, page order changes, scribal corrections, ink layering, and whether sections were planned or assembled later. Imaging methods can reveal faint underdrawing or overwritten marks, showing process rather than meaning. Sometimes, how it was made tells you why it was made, single author versus multiple hands, single campaign versus decades. The Voynich Manuscript is a rare artifact that turns every confident answer into a stress test. Cipher, Hoax, or lost system. The only way out is a solution that survives replication across the book, not a clever paragraph on one page. Until then, Voynich remains what it has always been. A machine that generates certainty, and then humiliates it. Comment your strongest theory and subscribe to World of Mysteries for the next investigation.